Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Maine back here with another episode of the Order Book. Excited for today's episode. We actually have a little bit of movement on Bitcoin here, so it'll be interesting to see if anything's actually going to happen at the same time that this is going on. We have stocks pulling back while we're being told that stocks are going to be moving to 24.5 or 23.5 trading, so almost around the clock trading. Lots of interesting stuff to discuss there. So I'm excited to get into it. As always, I got my man Cody in the chat, so he'll be looking out for any chart requests that you have. We have some requests left over from last video that we're going to be going over. So we're going to get into all that and more. The best news out of everything, guys, I got a new mouse. So my scroll wheel, back to normal. We're scrolling like you wouldn't believe. Forward, back, up, down, zero breaks, zero leg, zero hiccup. It's the best. So hopefully everyone had a great weekend. Everyone just finished watching the latest episode of the Whiteboard series. It was a good one. I recorded another episode of the Whiteboard series last night. We're getting close to the end. And then we got to figure out what we're going to be posting after that. So very exciting stuff. So I'm stoked for today's episode. What's up, Temptus over on Kick? What's up, Gray? Manzamark, why were you bearish gold like 1-2 months ago and flip bullish? I was bearish gold when it was going down. And I don't think I've flipped bullish. I think that it broke out of the trend line and it had an opportunity to go up. It went up a little, but I've been pretty consistent with saying I think we get sub 4,000 gold. Hate from Toronto, hate from Canada to Vancouver to you, bro. Hey, man, how do you manage to do all you do all day, day to day? Do you have any free time? Not nearly enough, man. I'm working a lot harder now than I have in a very long time. But I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So it doesn't really feel like work. But yeah, you know, we'll see. Retirement, I got lots of time to retire. Lots of time to retire. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to start with the charts as always. So we'll start with Bitcoin here, and then we're going to go down the list, and we'll get to some of your guys' chart requests once we get into kind of the main big ones that I usually like to cover here. So we'll start with Bitcoin. So a lot of hype around Bitcoin, right? Is the bottom in? Is the bottom in? Everyone's always asking the exact same thing. Is the bottom in on Bitcoin? And I've been pretty consistent in saying that, you know, we haven't really done a whole lot. Like, we have a decently nice looking 3-day candle here, but like we haven't done a lot. We're not very far off the bottom. And if the bottom is actually in, is indeed in, we have a lot of time. And I think that that's something that a lot of people really kind of don't think about, right? Like, Bitcoin moves in these 4-year cycles. Whether you're a believer of the traditional 4-year cycle, where it's topping, you know, based on actual count of days every 4 years, the bottom line, it's indisputable that Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle. Indisputable. You can go back all the way back to like the OG bull runs in 2013. Way fucking back. And we still have these 4-year cycles. So if I go all the way back here, okay, we're going to go way back. See if it'll let me do it on the weekly. It's a little bit better on the weekly. So this is the Bitcoin chart from the beginning of time, okay? Like, this is when Bitcoin was created. So we had this multi-year bull run, right? And then we have a bear market, and the bear market lasts from the all-time high to the all-time low. And then once it finally breaks out of that all-time low and kind of flips the trend bullish, which is right around here, okay, it's about a year. So the downtrends last generally a year, and then they're followed by like a 3-year bull run. So if we go from, you know, kind of when we made that low to the high. We have this multi, kind of year bull run. And then back here again. Here's our high. Down to our low. It's about a year. Little over a year. 400 days, right? But from top to bottom, little over a year. A year's got 365 days. We're like a year and a month there. And then we have a multi-year bull run. So wherever you determine that bottom ended up being, we have a multi-year bull run. And then from this top to the bottom, right? From here to here, it's about a year, right? 1 year of downtrend. And then guess what happens? A multi-year bull run. Multi-year bull run, 3 years. Guess what happened last bear market? Anyone want to guess? Is anyone surprised that it was about a year? Top to bottom. And then a multi-year bull run. Okay, so regardless of whether or not you buy into the idea that there is this super precise 4-year cycle that, you can count the days and time these weekly and yearly cycle highs and lows, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's demonstrably true that Bitcoin generally goes up for years, right? Builds a base, goes up for years, and then has about a year-long bear market, plus or minus a month or two, all the way back to 2009. So all the history that we have. Now, in terms of markets, having 2009, 13, 17, 21, 25, 5 specific boom bust cycles, but really only over a period of 10, 20 years, not even 17 years. It's not a ton of history. So some people might say, well, there's not enough data points to, support this hypothesis that Bitcoin operates on a 4-year cycle. But based on all the available data, the 4-year cycle seems to be accurate. It's happened every single time. So whether or not it continues, I don't know. Whether or not it changes, I have no fucking idea. But if every other bear market and bull market has acted effectively the same, not identical, but very similar in terms of structure and length and time, I would assume that this bear market and preceding bull market is going to act the same. And so if we take from the top here, okay, and we go out a year in time, okay, that means that the bear market's going to be over in September, October, November, right? Give or take a month on either side, maybe 2 months. Maybe it bleeds a little bit into 2027. Let's say really worst case scenario goes out to here, right? But regardless, we're through the vast majority of this move already. We've been going down from the top already for 320 days. And based on the prior cycles, we've gone down anywhere from a year to a year and 2 months, a year and 3 months, every single time. So in terms of, the idea of the bottom being in, I absolutely am on the same page. And I've reiterated this several times that we're definitely close, if not already there, from a time and price perspective. Whether or not we have one more low, right? Or it's just more sideways. I think the evidence is pretty indisputable that we're very close. It's just a matter of, is it this? Is it down here that it happens? I don't know. Okay. But this idea, this FOMO inducing kind of environment that many of the people on Twitter like to put you guys in, oh my God, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. If you don't get in right now, you're going to miss out. It's fucking over. It's silly. Because if we are indeed in a bull run now and the bottom is in, and now it's okay, we're going to start a new bull run. We objectively have 1,000 days of upward price action on Bitcoin to be excited about. If you didn't get involved in the Bitcoin bull run last time until here, after it very clearly made a weekly higher high. So this is months, several months after the low and 50% higher than the low. You still had 900 days of a bull run to participate in. Maybe you didn't catch the absolute bottom, right? Maybe it had already gone up a little bit. Like in this case, once we got the weekly market structure break, price was already up, 38% off the low before it got the weekly structure break. So it's weekly structure breaks, already 38% off the low, and the bottom's been in now for a little bit. But you still got a ton of fucking time to get to allocate into spot, to flip bullish, to change your bias, and all of these things. So if we think that the bottom is in now, forget waiting for any sort of market structure flip. If the bottom's in now, and the FOMO that these people are trying to make you feel is real, we're 10% off the bottom. Only 10%. And we have somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 1,000 days to be bullish. That puts us well into 2029. So as much as I do think it's time to pay attention, we're getting close. I think 60K area Bitcoin is cheapish. I'm not fully convinced that the bottom is in yet personally, and I've stated my reasons why a bunch of times. At the end of the day, if it is in, you got time. And these people who are trying to rush you and make you feel FOMO, like you're going to miss out, there's a reason for them doing that. A lot of these people are financially incentivized in you getting more active, whether it's trading on chain, where there's, an abundance of rugs and scams and extractors, right? Buying their meme coins, getting more active in leverage so volume comes back. Like there's always a reason, right? You always got to look and just say, okay, if everyone is saying this, why? What could be the possible reason? And logically speaking, the bull market is not going to go by in the blink of an eye. So if we are indeed bullish, it's going to be obvious. It was very obvious from, kind of January of 2023 all the way to September of 2023, 9 months that things had changed. We went from being in a downtrend to consolidating, flipping market structure, and then we had 1, 2, 3 higher highs on the weekly chart, including higher lows on Bitcoin before things even got really, really crazy. And that's the same in this last bull run too, right? We had very clear change in tone and in structure on Bitcoin before things got really crazy and really parabolic. So you got time. So much stuff is still trading at the bottom of the barrel prices. Like outside of a few things, nothing's really moved from where it was in June, excuse me. So there's a lot of people who have been trying to tell you, like, this is what's happening. You're not bullish enough, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, like Solana's up 25%. I'm not saying that's not nothing, but let's assume you bought Solana here at 40. Okay. It went up 600%. Now, could you have bought it at 8 and it's a way bigger move? Of course. But very few people bought it here and held it here. Very few people. Let's be honest, okay? It's not about catching this and this. This is where the money is made. Catching this and this is very difficult, very risky, because if you're wrong, you're really fucking wrong. But if you can catch the meat of the move, you're going to do just fine. So that's kind of my thoughts on Bitcoin. Now, we finally have this little bit of a push up, right? We've been watching this 12-hour order block, and I mean, I feel like a broken record because price has not moved. We've done fucking 16 streams, still waiting for price to either go down here or up here. So these highs or these lows. And still, we have no resolution. We have no resolution. We broke out of the trend line, back test the 12-hour order block, and we're turning up a little bit. But stocks are now rolling over, which is a little bit annoying. It's like, how come we couldn't have gotten this rally when stocks went up vertically? Of course not. That would be too convenient. So for now, I'm cautiously targeting like this. like these highs. That's kind of where I'm thinking that we're going to head next, assuming we can hold this structure here, which is like a low, a high, potentially a higher low. Confirmation will come, of course, on a higher high. If we can get that, then I think we take out this. I think 67,000 is a big level, right? So not only is there liquidity here, but if you go out to the weekly chart, let me just delete this so it's clean here. This is a big level, right? That's arguably your low, or your high, excuse me. So close above 67K, I think that opens the door for a larger swing up into the premium of this range. That's kind of my plan for now. Now, right now, this is attempting to go up, right? Higher low. So if we're able to get above this, which is effectively like 65K, and make a higher high here, I think there's like little to no chance that these hold. So really, if you're a bear, you kind of need to slam it like right fucking now. Because if you don't slam it right now and turn this over here, I think that we squeeze probably towards like 70K. Like I think we blast through this, and I think we probably squeeze up into here. And if that happens, then as we get into the premium of this dealing range, I'll look for potential signs of weakness if we get up there. Oops. Why does that happen every fucking time? Sorry, guys. One sec. Fucking camera. Damn. Just fucking the weakest fucking product I've ever owned. There we go. Peep the shirt. Come on now. 42 years old, Star Wars t-shirt. So that's really it. I don't really have much else to say on Bitcoin short term. Let's see what the fuck the bulls got. Stocks are pulling back. Bitcoin seemingly is just marching by the beat of its own drum at this point. If it's gonna go, let's fucking go. Get above 65K, get above 67K, then we can talk about the 70s. The weekly is the trickiest picture for me because I've been telling you guys, right, I want to see this. This is my confirmation that the low is in. Weekly market structure shift. So we're making lower lows, lower highs, shift through there, retest, it's gone, right? Well, the question you have to ask yourself is, does this count as a weekly swing high? Because your dealing range was here, right? It was this. Then we made a new low here. So you could argue your weekly dealing range is now this. But there is some potential that if you like really get granular here, that like maybe this is an important range here, which gives us that 67K level. So like, is this the equivalent of 25K? I personally think no. I still think weekly structures all the way up at 82. And I know that's really far away. And I'm not saying you have to wait until 82,000 to buy. I've actually been encouraging you guys to look to buy as we go below 60. Multiple times now. We've had multiple stabs at 60. And I've said, this is a cheap price. Can it go lower? Yeah, it could go to 50, 40. Yes, but I think that's cheap. But above 82, it's in my opinion, objectively bullish now on the weekly chart, akin to what we had back here. Now, one of the reasons I would love a new low is because if we get one more low that's significant, so like we do something like this, let's say, or maybe that's too aggressive. Maybe we do like this. I just drew the same line twice. I'm retarded. Okay. Now we have a clear weekly low that the moment we get above this, like the bottom is in. And it's close to price. Whereas here, that weekly structure is still quite far away. So it's really tricky. It's really tricky based on my system, at least, because usually it's a lot cleaner. Like when I'm looking at the top, give me my lines back, you bitch. When I'm looking at the top, we had clear weekly structure, right? We had clear weekly structure here. That's your weekly low. The moment that broke, it's fucking over. The moment we broke above here, it's on like Donkey Kong. The moment we broke below here, it was certainly over. You could argue it was over back here, below that low. So it's a little tricky, but nonetheless, we're going to be monitoring. But I don't think there's a reason to be getting like super stressed out or super fucking horned up or annoyed. Like, just let the chart do what it's going to do, guys. If it's bullish, it's going to make it very apparent that it's bullish. It'll be very obvious. Right now, this is leaning. I'm like leaning towards more upside, but I'm not like convinced. I would say I'm like more hopeful than like, you know, unabashedly bullish. Yeah, like right now we've got a little sweep here. Does it really matter? I don't know. Janik says, well, you missed it. I'm aware, dude. I'm one of the few Twitter accounts who actually was like, hey, if we break weekly structure, the top is in. And I posted that a year before we even got up here. But then unfortunately, I got caught up in the hype a little bit. I stayed bullish for too long. And then I said, okay, we've got one chance to rally here. And if we lose this trend line, it's over. And I was right. But I was wrong. I admit to my mistakes. I don't get everything right. Shit happens, bro. What did you do, bro? Did you sell the top? Did you buy the bottom? You must be such a Chad, man. Why don't more people follow you? Is it because you must provide such amazing insights? You must have such good stuff that everyone's following and listening to you. I never try and tell people that I'm always right. I'm like one of 5 Twitter accounts on the entire website who post their losses. Everyone else is like a fucking savant. It's incredible. No one does anything wrong. Everyone's got such a short memory. It's like, oh, wait, this person's awesome. They're shilling my meme coin. It's like, you don't remember how this person literally raped you like a month ago? Goldfish memory on the website. But yes, Janik, I was wrong at the top. I had the right idea. I just didn't trust my system. And because of that, I ended up holding spot longer than I wanted to. But it's my money, you know? I live with it. Your thoughts on the H12D sweep from the 9th of August price on what chart, bro? You got to be more specific than that. So yeah, like we got a little sweep here on the H12. I don't really think that this is a cause for concern unless we break down here. So like you could just set a little red line here, put MSB bottom, and then just set an alert on it. If we get below there, then I think maybe we're going to roll back. But for now, I'm going to assume if this is not gay, that we go up and take out these highs. So we'll wait and see. But I'm not in a trade on Bitcoin. I'm flat. ETH is like a little bit sticky too, right? We've come up here and like this is kind of distribution for me. The sweep, breakdown, but we're pushing back up. So I think if this is going to go, I think you have a pretty clear level just like right here, right? You got this little order block here. You got the mid range, like above this, this should trade into the, 2200s if it's going to go. If it's going to break down, it's going to break down. But like, I just don't have a strong bias right now. Like, I'm looking at ETH. I'm looking at ETH and it's like, okay, we took out the prior week's high. 3-day kind of technically broke the low. Go down to the H12 and it's like, okay, you've got the sweep, the breakdown. You've got another sweep, another breakdown. So if we get something like some sort of sweep in here, maybe there's a short opportunity on ETH. You could argue, is there SMT here? No, they're both lower highs for now and higher lows. So Yeah, for now, I don't really have anything there. Like, we get some sort of sweep, we get some sort of reason to be bearish on this thing, then I'll look at it. But for now, I'm just going to assume if Bitcoin squeezes, it's going to take ETH with it. ETH BTC as well is outside of this trend line pretty decently at this point. So first clue that it's, you know, potentially trying to put in that higher low, but still zero higher highs, right? Like here's its first test. There's your order block, and that's kind of where it's got to get through. So let's see if this thing can actually break this downtrending structure for now. Solana, we've been watching the same levels for weeks, right? This weekly order block. Downtrending structure within it. Got a little sweep there, a little over under. It's pushing up. It's just like, okay, let's go. It's kind of how I feel on all of these charts, right? Is like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go already. Start doing giveaways of breakout accounts. You take and take from people who bust on breakout accounts. It's time to give back. No, fuck you. Like, what are you talking about, bro? We've paid out $50 million to traders. 50 million. 50 million. I give away, I've put an entire trading course out on the internet for free. I share trade ideas and I live stream twice a week. Have you considered that maybe breakout isn't the problem? Maybe you're just not very good at trading. Does that ever cross your mind? Because we've paid out $50 million to people who seem to be pretty good at trading. If you want to talk about people taking from the community, go talk to Pumpfun. Go talk to all the KOLs launching meme coins. All the people launching and rugging and bundling meme coins. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't bust your account. You do. You know the rules. I'm giving you money to trade with, way more than you might have on your own, for a very low cost. You can get a $5,000 account for 20 bucks, and we give you 10x leverage on Bitcoin. So you can open up a $50,000 Bitcoin position, and all you paid us is 20 bucks. And if you bust that, that's on you, brother. That's on you. How's that on me? You know the rules. If you don't like the game, don't play it. Clearly people do, though, because we've paid out $50 million. We have a few guys who are approaching 7 figures in payouts on their own. People who beg for shit, gimme, 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 help me, woe is me. You a victim. Pull yourself up by your fucking bootstraps, bro. I ain't falling for that shit anymore. I tried so many times. Okay, bro, don't buy any more accounts. No one's forcing you to use Breakout. It's a tool. It's available. If you buy Breakout account or don't, I don't care. You're at almost 5K off of a $20 account. The drawdown is rigged. Rigged implies that the rules aren't what they say they are. Just because you're not good enough to trade within the rules that are provided, it doesn't mean it's rigged. It just means that you either aren't very good at trading, or you're not very good at reading, or possibly both. Rigged implies that there's something unfair occurring here. Like, I say the rules are one thing, but they turn out to be another. There's only 2 rules. We explain them very clearly. Now, if you can't follow along, if you can't play within the sandbox that we provide, that's up to you, bro. That's up to you. We have the most trader-friendly rules in the entire prop firm industry. So I'm sorry, when we have 50 million in payouts, highly rated on Trustpilot, never denied a payout, I'm going to listen to those people more than the one guy who says, I can't seem to pass a challenge. Unfortunate. Unfortunate, but yeah, I'm not giving you a free account, bro. I'm sorry. When would you increase the max position to $2 million? We did for the S&P. You're asking for a free account, and now you're asking me how you can long $2 million? What are we even talking about here, guys? Unbelievable. Anyways, Solana pushing up. But this is where I'm at with the charts right now, guys. Like, if we're bullish, fucking send it. Fucking send it, dude. Go. Trade higher. Give us some. I posted this. At the start of the week. I'm like, just a crumb of volatility. Just a crumb of volatility, please. Just please give us some vol. Trade higher. Let's go. Anything. So that's where I'm at for Bitcoin. If this thing's going to go, let's see it. Let's see it. If ETH is going to go, let's see it. If Solana is going to go, let's see it. You know? 15 million in payouts, but that's only one side. What's the profits you've taken? Bro, what's this weird thing that people have about companies in crypto being like, well, how much money do you make? Do you think we launched the business for charity? It's a business. It is a for-profit company. We want to make money. Now, one of the great things about our business is you can make money along with us. Do you have the same question when you're talking to Pumpfun? Their entire business model is predicated on you getting ass raped. Right? It's insane. I don't think many of you are serious people. I really don't. Why are there so little tickers that are tradable? We had over 100 symbols in the bull run. Right now, bro, there's no volatility on anything. So much stuff that we had listed, nobody was trading. We had assets where people would trade, like one person would be trading it. So as volatility comes back and we go and we get more and more volatility and the bull run returns, we'll continue to add back more assets. Hey, Tim, you send me a copy of your tax return via DM. I'll send you mine. How's that for transparency? You guys are insane. I no longer own the company either, so I'm not allowed. I don't have the ability to share that information. Kraken bought the company. People are nuts. People are nuts. Sometimes I forget why I don't read chat as much. Because some of you guys are fucking retarded. But I appreciate those of you that aren't. Let's look at Hyperliquid now. The ratio of winners to looters, it's better than on FOMO and Pumpfun, substantially. I know, guys. Dude, I know that the fucking chart saving isn't working. It's pissing me off, too. Pump chart is moving. We'll check pump in a second here. Hype, it's like, okay, broke out of the downtrend here. Like, did someone say ETH is putting in an H12 sweep as well? Did it, though? I guess technically. So, like, same as Bitcoin here. Mark that. Mark the low. Oops. So mark the top, mark the low. If we break below there, then, you know, that H12 sweep somewhat becomes concerning because it is occurring within the bounds of this H12 breaker, right? So there's a breaker here, broken structure there. We've now put another sweep in there. So that's actually something, to be honest with you, to watch here. If we do get a break below this low, then maybe there's a short here on ETH, but I'm not going to touch it for now. I'm just going to wait and see. It's Tuesday. How's Monday's range look on these bad boys? Ooh. Is that Monday's high too? Okay. I mean, there's an argument to be made here that, like, there's a Monday's range trade setting up here. I just released a video on Monday's range strategy over on the Breakout YouTube. That's definitely worth watching. But yeah, if we get below here, I don't love how far the market structure is from the entry, like your entry and market structure. So your stop loss, excuse me, would be quite far, but worth monitoring for sure. Worth monitoring for sure. Same on ETH. Sol, does it have the same sweep? It's well above Monday's high. Technically, there's a sweep here, but I'm not rushing in to sell any of this shit at the moment. Yeah, the structure's way down there. You're short ETH for a scalp. It might work, bro. It might work. Hyperliquid, right? We got Monday's range. Technically, you got a sweep here right at Monday's high on the H12 as well. This is already broken. So like, while Bitcoin and Solana have not, you could argue that Hyperliquid's already given you the trigger. Structure break, retest. If this sells down to Monday's low, yeah, like that's a pretty nice H12, H1, and Monday's range at the same time for double confluence. But overall, right, I think Hyperliquid has some resistance above it here that we got to be cognizant of and aware of. Technically, weekly structure still down here. Like, I still want to buy Hyperliquid down here, but that's going to require Bitcoin making a new low. I don't know if that's going to happen. The S&P, this is like what I find the most interesting, and we'll get into chart requests here shortly, guys. But this is one of the things I find most interesting is, you know, I want to see stocks. I had this squiggle, right? I just want to see them continue up. This is what I want to see. What's most concerning about the indices is they haven't really peeled off at all. They just made new highs last week, but a lot of the stuff underneath the hood is a lot sketchier. It looks a lot worse. A lot of the big tech names, a lot of the big stocks within the indices look a lot worse than the indices do themselves. So we're retesting this fair value gap. We obviously have like the prior highs here, right? So fair value gap right there. And then you kind of got like this, you know, prior highs. That would be worst case scenario, right? Is if this is really going to pull back, is a retest of this. But I don't think you want to see this get back below here, right? We don't want to see this become like some sort of deviation for sure. Because then you start looking at companies like Amazon, etc. These deviation plays on stocks, right? It looks like we're putting it in again here on Amazon. Again, right? Put in a high, deviation, sell off. Put in a high, deviation, sell off. Put in a high, deviation, sell off. And these highs, and we did that back here too. These highs are losing amplitude. So something to watch, something to be concerned with equities here is we're not really getting that follow through. I kind of want to see that follow through. Nasdaq, same thing. Broke out of the trend. It was worth taking the long, but we're now struggling here. I want to see this go. I want to see everything go. If the bulls are in charge, fucking gas it, dude. Dollar, I think you want to watch here, right? We're retesting this kind of key demand. Putting in a weekly SFP potentially. It's still very early in the week. It's only Tuesday. If we can reclaim 155 back within this range, I think dollar can trade to here. That would, I think, be bearish for Bitcoin and risk. Now, if this thing's topped and this is just a deviation and this becomes a breaker, this goes all the way back to the lows, I think that bodes very well for Bitcoin. But we got a lot of people talking about, you know, why stocks are selling off and blah, blah, blah. The indices haven't like rebalanced really based on what some of the underlying stuff is doing quite yet. And if and when that happens, it will probably be aggressive. So something to watch for sure. And then we have, you know, the yields. The yields are reaching some of the highest levels seen in a very long time. The 30-year yield hasn't been this high since, you know, 2007. Right? 19 years ago. What happened here? This was the beginning of the financial crisis. So really high new 30-year yield for the first time in a very long time. So there are some like flashing warning signs. The problem is you don't want to be Michael Burry, right? You don't want to be super early to this. I'm still in a relatively cash heavy position, all things considered. I've got some crypto exposure. But I'm holding a bunch of cash, and I find it really hard to deploy fresh capital in equities here, like into the indices at least. I'm not saying there's not some stocks that might be a good buy, but I find it hard to. The fuck is this? I was doing some art here. I find it hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna be a net buyer of the S&P here for the long term. I just feel like it's pretty up there. Let's look at some of these AI and semi names. So you have things like Nebius, however you call it, coming into resistance. Okay, a little bit of a back test here. Into weekly resistance. So if this thing's going to be a lower high, okay, I don't know. This is kind of your Leopold liquidation candle. Sweep into demand. Big rally up. I mean, this is like a 50% rally. More. Is this a higher low that's going to get put in here now? And then we just continue the party? Or are these dead cat bounces? So if you look up like the Wall Street cheat sheet, against some of these stocks, right? You got to ask yourself, like, is this complacency, right? Like, are we here on some of these charts, right? And this is the same for like a lot of this stuff, right? Is this dead cat bounces on a lot of these things? So I don't know yet. It's still too early to tell. This is kind of the first pullback on, a massive rally out of the lows after we had, kind of a huge player taken out of the market. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but this is kind of a very interesting time. I think what you're going to want to be watching if you're a bull is you want to see all of this stuff be higher lows. Right? So there's your first leg. I now want to see a higher low and then continuation. Right? There's your correction. Now you want to see a new structure form to the upside. I don't know yet. I was confident that this was a good bounce area. So I posted that. We talked about this as a good bounce area. But now that we've gotten 40, 50, 60% rallies across the board and we're getting our first little mini pullback, I don't know what's going to happen next. So I think if you're a bull, you just got to be like pretty objective about this, right? Find your structure. Maybe you're going to use like the H4 or the H12 or something like that. There's your low, high, higher low, higher high. Okay, I don't know. Probably here, I think. Somewhere like this for another higher low. And then take out structure, continue higher. Because for now, right, the primary trend has been bearish. And now you've got potential here, right, for a shift to bullishness. So this is a downtrend. Now could this be back to an uptrend? That's what you're looking for. So I genuinely don't know. Maine, could you please take a look at Bitcoin again? Thank you. Daily sweep from July 31st and a clear bearish breaker on July 19th, which we're retesting from the underside now. I don't think anything from all the way back in July matters, bro. But we'll look. Oh, you're talking about this, I think, right? Is this what you're talking about? Daily sweep from July 31st. I don't see that. July 31st. That's not a daily sweep, brother. This is a daily sweep. This is a breaker. So I could see the argument there. And then within this, we have this H12 sweep. Like, I see what you're saying, but again, not really interested in shorting unless we were to get down below here, which is just, I don't know if this is a good setup, right? Like, this to me is far. If that's the trade, you're shorting this, and your stop is way up there, it's pretty wide. 1.5%. Like we're all the way down here for 2R. It's like all the way below all these lows here. Possible. It's definitely possible. But I would wait personally and see if we get like a breakdown of there before shorting. But yes, I see what you're saying. So I think that's all I got, guys. SK Hynix, right? Like, so Korean markets pulling back pretty strongly, right? Like this is 13-14% off the high. Kind of looks like just like a underside retest. Still too early to tell. But the thing is, like, now that Leopold is out and we've kind of had this counter trend rally, now I want to see the market tell us its actual direction. I'm not going to try and guess. I'm not going to try and force my bias onto the chart. I want the chart to tell me. I want the chart to tell me. Maine, do you regret selling Breakout, knowing that you possibly could have made it this good on your own? I don't think so. I think I'm pretty happy with the outcome, and also like now I have the freedom to start thinking about what I want to do next. You know what I mean? Like ultimately, we sold Breakout at a pretty opportune time, bro. All right, like we sold it in September of 2025. Pretty good time to sell. But running, and I'm still involved too. So I don't know. I think there's no perfect answer, but I'm very happy with the outcome because I want to do more different things. I love creating content. Like I really love creating content. Doing the whiteboard series has been a ton of fun for me. I want to do more on YouTube. Like I want to do way more on YouTube. I want to do way more on Instagram. I like Instagram and YouTube way more than I like Twitter. I enjoy talking to a camera more than I like writing. I feel like the community of people is better. You know, people are happy when you're, you know, sharing information and helping them out. And I just feel like people are generally more positive on those platforms. I feel like Twitter is unbelievably negative. And I've been on Twitter a very long time, man. I just like, you know, I'm looking for a new thing, a new challenge. ETHFI. Can I look at Litecoin? Why on God's names? Why on God's green earth would you ever want to look at Litecoin, bro? I've added it to the list, but you're a sick individual. Real JD Roth. You're a sick puppy. So's whoever requested this, by the way. So anytime you have a chart that is like this depressed, right? I always do the same thing. I go to the super high time frame, right? And then I look for some sort of prior price floor, and then I see if price is interacting with it, if it's able to reclaim it. So if you go out to like the 12-month, nothing. 3-month, yeah, we've got a clear level here. So now when you zoom in, right, you can already start to see this level start to take shape. We've got some resistance here. But this is a pretty big zone, pretty big level. Go down to the weekly. Now all of a sudden it starts to look like what? What does this look like? Anyone? Bueller, accumulation, manipulation, potential distribution, right? So you can usually find, Link did this, like this was one of my better trades a long time ago, was this Link AMD, and it was just accumulation, manipulation. So accumulate, manipulate, distribute. So I think that I see a potential AMD here. I see the 5 stages of main as well, right? Aggressive sell-off, less aggressive, sideways. But I also see an AMD around that 3-month level. Like, do you guys not see that? The power 3, whiteboard enjoyers definitely see it. Accumulate, manipulate, distribute. So if this thing's going to go, right? If this thing's going to go, okay, we've got a clear invalidation. It's this. So you want to see bullish order blocks hold as support, and you want to see price trade higher, right? Bullish order block, price trades higher. So where's the next one? There's one here. Do we come back down that low? I don't know. Maybe we only come down to this fair value gap. But effectively, what you want to see is if this is distribution, price should move up and away impulsively, and bullish points of interest should hold. SoFi. Yeah, I mean, I talked about this last stream, I think. We're just like in a very clear range here. I think I marked out, yeah, we have this fair value gap here. Is that the daily? What is this, 4 hour? I don't know what that lower box is, but we have this big fair value gap here. Kind of put in a sweep, but now that sweep is failing. I think you just watch and just see, like, you know, this is a multi-month range. If we're going to go, I want to see it break out, but I know this is like a no trade zone for me. We're in a very clear range, multiple touches on each side, and we're like right in the middle. Don't diddle in the middle. If this thing's going to go up, I'll long on a breakout. If I'm bullish on it, I'll either long on a breakout or I'll long near the range low. But I have no interest in participating in the dead smack middle of a range. Just zero interest. VVV. I saw something that like Eric Vahuri's was like, we just crossed like 100 million in revenue or something, or projected revenue. I don't remember what the exact number was. It's like, great, awesome. I still don't fully understand, to be completely honest with you, like the dual structure of the equity and the token. Like, what the fuck is the difference? We can probably grok that, to be honest with you. So it sounds like they have the token, which is the utility token and staking assets and governance mechanism, but they also have straight up equity that investors also got. So users stake VVV to mint DM for daily AI inference. This sits alongside traditional corporate equity, creating debate over whether the token's upside and company revenue is aligned. It's very interesting. I don't know if this has been done successfully before, but you know, I do think Eric is a very smart guy, and I think the need for a AI that is truly like anonymous, you know, because you could argue that all of us are giving a disgusting amount of our information to, you know, Palantirs, Anthropics, OpenAIs, you know, Google with Perplexity. Like, they're getting, like, these are closed source AI models, and a lot of the information you're putting in there, you know, ostensibly is probably accessible. You know, how private is it? So I do think that there's an interesting angle with what Venice does. I have no real knowledge of the dual equity token kind of dynamic, or if it's a good thing or a bad thing. What are the positives? What are the negatives? But in terms of the chart itself, you had a huge rally, okay, and then a pullback of 50%, and now it looks to be forming a base. So that's kind of what I would be looking at here, right? Is we're basing here. Tag that low. We're now forming a base. If it's going to go, I'd be very interested in taking a long on some sort of a breakout of this base. You have kind of a nice trend line break here. So if it's going to go, okay, let's see it go. Break out of this basing structure. I'm interested. Otherwise, if we do get another pullback, I might be interested near the range lows. But we're kind of, just in the premium of the range right now. I'm not a buyer here personally. Doesn't mean you can't buy here and it goes up. You could buy here and it could trade higher. I don't know. But in terms of how I trade, there's no setup here. Netflix. Oh, yeah, I remember this. So we were looking at this as, kind of an opportunity to potentially long this yearly order block. So you go all the way out to the year. You have that yearly order block right there. And I was like, oh, man, I would love to long the yearly order block. There's weekly resistance here. If we can come and take out that low, I'd be very interested. But for now, it's pushing higher. We don't have to touch this at all. And we could also do this and then trade back down. So keep that in mind. But looking at this on like the 3-day chart, if we're able to flip this here, I think you target here. But I don't think there's enough juice here for a trade for me. Like, I don't think the risk reward is worth it here for me. So I do believe that if it can get up here, this becomes my draw. Whether it goes higher after that, I have no idea. But in terms of, next immediate targets, that's what it would be. If it rejects here, right, we're still within this area of resistance. If it rejects here, like I had previously shown, I really like a tag of the yearly order block. And I would absolutely be looking to build a Netflix position here. If we get a move into this yearly order block, I would be using the high time frame here to build out a position, because I think this is good value for something like Netflix. Hey, man, thanks for the whiteboard series. I've been learning a lot. How long did it take you to become consistent? Contrary to popular belief of what you see online, where it seems like people come out of nowhere and start making money, it took me a while. I lost all of my money that I had made very briefly early on when I got into crypto, because I had no idea what I was doing. It took me years, over 2 years, before I really thought I had a decent grasp on like trading. And not that I was even that good, but I had the ability to like look at a chart, mark it up, look for areas of interest, find trade setups. But it took me well over 2 years before I was like consistently able to mark up a chart, find trades, start taking those trades. And it took me a little longer than that before I started consistently making money. So it takes a while. I think a lot of people are like too impatient with how long trading takes. Like, you're trying to learn a whole new skill. It takes a while. And I think you got to just like put in the time and the reps and the effort. And that's the part that you can't rush. You can watch a bunch of videos and like learn how to do TA and use an indicator. But if you're looking for, consistency in your trading, it takes a while. You got to have, thousands and thousands of repetitions in the market, taking trades, making money, losing money, journaling, winning for a while, losing for a while, having upswings and downswings, fear when you're losing, greed when you're winning. You got to go through the emotional roller coaster. It's really the only way you're going to get any good, is just by putting the time in. So it took me a few years. This comment's hilarious. Oh, it's trader. Wait for the market structure break main. I hope you waited for the market structure break before this stream. I bet you waited before the market structure break before eating breakfast, you sick bastard. JMO, I waited for the market I waited for the market structure break before giving it to your mom. She's like, I want it so bad, Trader Main. This is JMO's mom. That's what she sounds like. She goes, oh, Trader Main, I want it so bad. I said, we got to wait for the break in market structure before I broke your mom's back by having sex with her. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm insinuating. I had sex with your mother, but I waited for the market structure to break first. Welcome to the stream, though. My goat. We used to have more fun in the chat. Like, I used to do like entire video summaries of like outtakes, and it would just be me chatting with the chat. We'd chirp back and forth, but everyone's got to be on the same page, right? If we want to get back to the days where I'm, you know, shooting the shit with the chat, we got to remember it's all love, right? I'm not mean. I don't mean anything that I'm saying. It's banter. We call it in Canada, we call it beaking or chirping. Just like talking shit with your boys. It's not meant to be mean. You're not supposed to take it seriously. It's just meant to be fun banter that everyone enjoys. I can take a joke. So if you're going to make fun of me, you got to be willing for me to make fun of you, you know? That's how we have fun. Yeah, before the market structure break, I was doing the dad. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, let's see. Tesla. Iran. I don't know why I said that. I apologize immediately. Not really much has changed here, right? So I've been looking for this kind of rally, right? We had a low to a high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now I'm kind of hoping we get a bit of a push up into the premium here. That's really it. That's really it. So if this thing's going to continue to go, I would like to see it trade up into the premium, which means above 365 and then maybe a lower high. I do think that this is looking like a bear flag. It's just a matter of how high does it go before rolling, right? Or does it just roll from here? Like there's a world where this is an SFP and the lower high could be in here, but I'm pretty firmly bearish on this chart still. I don't think there's anything that's like flipping me bullish yet until we get some sort of structure shift. So I think on Tesla, like at best, it's a move up to here before lower. At worst, it's a very shallow bounce, which could end very soon before going lower. Fartcoin. A relic from the past. I don't know, bro. Looks pretty fucking cooked. Pretty fucking cooked. Doesn't matter how good the meme is. Doesn't matter how much attention it gets. At some point, it goes to zero. Here's a very interesting take. Ansem announced his new thing, right? It's like ansem.io. It's, you know, and I asked them what I thought were pretty fair questions. But essentially, the way that I read Ansem's proposal is this is a pay-to-play, you know, clone of like Dex Screener mixed with a little bit of a launch pad built on top of Pumpfun, where all of the money reverts back to Ansem. Now, some of you might view that and say, well, like, it seems like a grift. Now, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it yet. I don't really care because it's not my game. But if you look at what he posted, the smartest thing about it, which at the same time could be argued as the griftiest, is in order to get the diamond and gold tier, these people have to burn Ansem token, meaning you're buying and then burning supply of his token, which he owns 60% of. And he's made 7 figures in creator fees from Pumpfun from. Right? And you have to airdrop your token to Ansem holders who are likely just going to nuke it. There's not really any auditing or metrics in place to say, well, what happens if people are just going to rug, blah, blah, blah. Again, this is not my domain, but I think the most interesting thing that he's doing here is he's creating a flywheel for Ansem to continue to go higher. And that's the smartest thing by far. Whether or not it's fair, whether or not it's just like, okay, you make fun of Deck Screener for taking paid promos, and then you're offering paid promos, but instead of Deck Screener getting the money, you get the money, right? But at the end of the day, it gives Ansem's token a use case and a flywheel that could potentially cause the coin to continue to trade higher, because otherwise attention is not enough. I like Z. He's a friend of mine. He's got the most motion in all of crypto by far. He's good at the attention game. He's the best. But at the end of the day, he was fully on board and behind WIF, right? Where's WIF now? 0, right? So it doesn't matter how good the coin is. It doesn't matter how much attention it has. If it's a meme coin and it's intrinsically got no value, eventually it's going to 0. Fartcoin, seemingly one of the best meme coins from last cycle, still went to 0, right? Still down 99%, 95% from all-time high. Because there's no value here. It's just a zero-sum game where there's eventually going to be no one willing to be the new net marginal buyer. People who bought it lower are looking to sell it at a higher price. Eventually it goes to 0. But with Ansem's proposal, there is a world saying, okay, now we have some sort of mechanism that can create consistent buying and burning and more money flowing into Ansem's coin. So it's interesting. Now, whether or not that's the right way to go about it, I mean, the obviously biggest point of failure is it's one person. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility. But it's an interesting take on something new for meme coins. Whether or not I believe with the index, is it a curated index? If someone can just buy their way on, I don't really think so. But like, this is the future of pretty much every other coin, right? Fartcoin was one of the best ones in the last cycle. I would not be surprised if Fartcoin never makes a new all-time high. Can it go up? Could 10x from here. Doesn't mean it's going to make a new all-time high. It could, but most of these coins are intrinsically have no value. WIF is currently at a $100 million market cap. I wouldn't call it a 0. You know what I'm saying, bro. I just mean, look at the chart. Okay, it was at 5 billion. It's now down 97%. So unless you bought it way back here, right, and took some profit, it's a 0. Doesn't mean it's at 0 literally, but there's lots of these coins that have dead capital in it. There's tons of people who own WIF from way higher prices who refuse to sell because they're hoping that one day it's going to go up again and they can get out at break even. That makes up part of that market cap. Right? Popcat, all of these ones. It's all the same. Go look at coins from prior cycles. Right? Like, this is the future of all the coins. They eventually, yeah, maybe they have another rally. This could be Fartcoin this next cycle. Could have a big rally, but never make a new all-time high. And the end goal is eventually it's going to 0. So should be interesting. We already covered SoFi, bro. Just scroll back on the time. So Fartcoin itself, right? I think the argument to be made, yeah, like Shiba has tons of dead money in it. A lot of these projects, like if you go look at coin market cap, a lot of these projects just have dead money. Like, this is a lot of the money in some of these coins is dead. Litecoin is worth $3 billion, really? Of course not. Of course not. It's dead money. A lot of these, like Stellar, Cardano, this is dead fucking money. Shiba Inu, 2.5 billion. This is dead fucking money. Shiba Inu is still worth more today than like the best altcoins, meme coins last cycle topped out at. Like, what was the best meme coin last cycle? With Fartcoin? Like, they didn't even make it to 10 million. Shiba went to 40 billion. So I don't know, man. But like, just the like market cap is a bit of a meme when it comes to some of these things, because like the money's dead. A lot of the money in these coins are dead. That being said, let's chart Fartcoin. Like this is kind of similar to the ETHFI, whatever that other chart was I was looking at. So you got some accumulation. Maybe this is distribution. I think if you're bullish on this thing, there's your invalidation. Super tight, dude. Your invalidation's at 9 cents. Well, it's actually not super tight at all. It's insanely far, but that's what happens on these coins that are super volatile. But I'm not really interested in this personally. I would want to see, like, where's my boy JMO? I would like to wait for the market structure break on the weekly. Like, I would like some sort of clue that this thing's actually bullish. But if you're like super keen and you're like, yeah, no, the bottom's in on Fartcoin, your invalidation is a new low. So any sort of pullback here into bullish order blocks, like you just want to see these hold. I want to see this hold, and I want to see a new high. But I'm not really interested in any of this stuff right now. All right, Pumpfun. We're getting fucking long here. We're gonna have to switch gears soon here. Did Pumpfun make it out of the hood? No, there it is. Okay, I mean, this is kind of exactly what we had drawn out, right? Retest, trade higher. So that was the line that I'd drawn, the little squiggle. So, like, I think that was the trade. I don't think that there's an entry anymore. So we drew that squiggly, right? Up, pull back into the order block, continue. So that was the setup there. I don't think you have, I don't think there's a trade on it now. I think you wait and see where this move goes. If this thing puts in a serious green candle, then you have a new order block here. And you can just keep trading this thing until it stops going up. But other than that, she's still aggressively trending. That was your opportunity. So like as this gets steeper and more vertical, you're going to look for it to eventually break below the trend line, right? And then once it breaks below the trend line, that's when you start to look for this thing to break down. Let's see. Can it hold this new high? And if it can, then you have fresh demand right here. That would be the next area. I remember in 21, 22, you're rotating into ETC for a second leg of the cycle. And I know your bags are bigger this go round. You might not be seeking that extra multiplier and can just chill in majors. But what do you think of that strat today? Rotating out of Bitcoin when multiplier is better into other mid caps, something like XRP or Hype. Try and catch that late cycle run, assuming it's still dormant there. No, I mean, I think the market's changed a little, but you're just talking about alt BTC rotations. And I 100% still think that's exactly how the market moves, right? Back in the day, this was all there was. There was no stable coin that you could cash into. So you would hold Bitcoin, and then when you thought altcoins would run, you'd trade into alts, and then you'd trade back out of alts, back into Bitcoin. This still exists, and you absolutely can do this. And all you need to be doing is constantly monitoring alt BTC charts. So if you're riding Bitcoin, but you think, hey, maybe Sol's going to rip, okay, go look at Sol BTC. Is this a good time to be in Sol BTC? Is Sol going to outperform Bitcoin? Should I be allocating? So 100%, I think that strategy still works and is still very important. I think it's a little different now because there's so many meme coins, but at least between coins like Hyperliquid and Solana and ETH, absolutely you can still use the alt BTC ratios to try and rotate between what might go up more or what might be more bullish for a period of time. All right, the sick fuck who wanted to see Litecoin. Here we go. This is just like, no interest in touching this chart with even your dick, let alone mine. Like I just it just feels weak. Like it's holding on to this barely. It's barely holding on here. Swept out that low. So like, is there a reason to be a bull on this thing? Yeah, it's sold off like crazy, but it's just not doing anything right now, bro. Like it's just not doing anything. It's painfully slow. This is February to now. Right? Like there's just, think of all the things that have happened between February and now. Think of all the coins that have had little rallies. Think of what Bitcoin has done. Think of what the stock market has done. AI stocks have done. And this is Litecoin. So in terms of like allocating your capital to opportunities that are interesting, this is not one of them. Now, can it go up? Can it rally? Like, of course. This could be accumulation. This could be manipulation, and they could distribute. I have no idea. But if you've been holding this thing for the last, 8 to 9 months, you've been getting smoked against everything else. You would have been better off in almost anything. So I would just be worried that this is just going to stair step down again. But if you're really keen on looking for a setup here, like I think the best argument is like probably this, and it looks like it's already kind of played out, right? Like it's kind of already played out. Like there's your move up, a retest, but that would be the only way I'd be interested in this. If we come and tag this invalidation down there, that'd be the only way I would touch this thing. And even then I wouldn't touch it. I'm just not interested in it. But there you go, real JD. All right, AMD. It's nothing doing here, guys. Just consolidating at demand. We have the sweep. We have kind of the breaker. I think, what is it? Daily? No. 4 hour. There it is. Kind of have the breaker here. It's like maybe we get some sort of move. Got some lows here. Like something like this. Stop down there. But for now, not very interested. Sui, you guys are really just like scraping the bottom of the couch for fucking pennies right now, huh? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, boys? Like, I want to know, like, are you guys wanting to see these charts because you own it from higher and you're hoping it bounces? Or are you saying, hey, it's down a lot, I might be interested in buying? I'd be curious. Yeah, I'm not touching this one, dude. Like it's gotta hold this floor. If it can hold this floor and turn around a little bit, I might be interested. But at the time being, for the time being, excuse me, it just looks weak, looks shitty. So if it can reclaim this price floor, put in a little bit of bullish structure on the low time frame, maybe it looks interesting. You bought Sui sub $1. Interesting narratives. Hey, buddy, you could buy Sui for 65 cents on the dollar right now. If you bought it under $1, like how low? Because it's down 40% from $1. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate you. Shout out to my boy Thread. But yeah, I'm always curious of like when you guys ask me to look at these like old coins that are just like beaten to shit. Just because it's down, it doesn't mean it can't go down even more, right? Because it can. But like just wait for some sort of clue. Like wait for some sort of hint of bullishness. So holding that price floor would be interesting. We already covered hype. We covered a lot of charts here today, guys. I'm going to look, I'm going to have to wrap up the chart section here because I'm already an hour and a half into this. So we're going to cover Link, Cash Cat, Velvet, Dogecoin, and Pepe. And we'll also cover AVNT USD. So all of those are on the list for Thursday's stream, guys. But we got to get into a few other things here really quickly. So I want to give a quick shout out to myself. We can add pawns to the list as well. And near. But yeah, 4,700 followers on the order book show. Guys, I started this show completely from scratch in February. And I'm really happy with the growth that we've seen so far. I'm really, really stoked. So all of you guys watching, I appreciate you. I love you all very much. It keeps me very motivated. Someone asked me earlier, you know, do I have regrets about selling Breakout? Like, no, because I'm still involved with Breakout. And now I'm building the next thing. I'm working on the next thing. And to me right now, it's building out this show and doing these streams and building out on YouTube because I enjoy it. I genuinely do. Making video content is my favorite way to communicate with y'all. So if you guys want to support me, who wants to be 4,701? That could be you right now. So go give a follow to Order Book Show on Twitter. Also give a follow to Order Book Show on Instagram. This is where we post a bunch of clips from the show. So just little clips and stuff like that. So if you want to support your boy, those are the two easiest ways to do it. The other easy way to support your boy is to go and click these links down below the stream here, which for some reason aren't showing up. That's very frustrating and annoying. I don't know where the live stream clip went. Oh, there it is. But yeah, check out Breakout. Use code MAIN at checkout for a discount if you want. And check out Polymarket. If you click this link, that's international. This link here is Polymarket US. You want to take some prediction markets. That's where I do all of my prediction market trading. So check out Polymarket below. That's all you can do. Support me. And obviously just check out the videos, guys. The whiteboard series has crossed 200,000 views. So we've released 19 of these videos and we're over 200,000 views across the entire series now, which is really, really exciting. So if you're wondering, what are these boxes, these sweeps, market structure, all of this analysis, these ranges that I'm doing, all of the stuff that you see here, I teach you in the market structure series. These first like 10 videos up to here is the entire trading model. Everything after that is just building on it, giving you more tools and tricks to just improve it even more. So if you want to support me, check out those whiteboard series videos. They're really good. I've been working really hard on them. And I think that a lot of the questions that you guys might have around technical analysis, market structure, TA in general are answered in these videos. And we're entering a bull market soon here. No better time than now to sharpen your skills and get ready so you can make the most of it once the market starts getting really crazy. Have I disclosed what figure the breakout sale was? I'm not allowed. I signed an NDA with Kraken to not release the number. They chose to not release the number, but it was somewhere between $0 and $1 billion. All right, let's get into some shit here. Make something for scalpers, no spread, less commissions trading. We might have something cooking. Cannot confirm or deny. So as you guys saw in the title of the video, Nasdaq is introducing a new trading session, 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. Eastern, starting this year. So this is only like, a few months away. Stocks are going to be trading 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. So this is happening. This isn't a proposal. It's still waiting for SEC approval, but assuming that approval occurs, you're going to be able to trade the Nasdaq 23.5. So KNV brought up a point here. Like, what does this mean for tokenized stocks? We've seen this move lately towards everything becoming a perp. You can trade stocks on Hyperliquid, on Lighter, on NATO, on Breakout, 24/7, 365. The S&P, Nasdaq, oil, silver, and it's 24/7, 365. We saw during the height of the Iran conflict, oil's price would jump to wherever it traded to Hyperliquid over the weekend. Does this change that? I don't really know, but this seems like it's coming. So I do agree with some of these takes here, right? So for those of you too young to remember, during the heyday of the dot-com bubble, they also proposed making the market 24 hours. The market then crashed and everyone decided it was better to be able to sleep a little. There's a reason casinos are open all night. For all the degens that can't wait until the market opens the next morning. E-mini, who's a great follow. All these exchanges rushing to offer all-night trading and single stock futures trading 24/7 aren't doing it for your benefit. The anticipation is for a crash soon, and they're paving the way for institutions to be able to sell with ease to ensure that there's no circuit breakers. So it's a bit of a counterbalancing argument here. It's like, okay, more access to people, more trading hours, right? But on the other hand, it's like, well, does this not mean that maybe it's more easy for institutions to offload? It's been a lot of money made in the stock market over the last several months. Ton of money made in the stock market over the last several months. And all of a sudden, these are going to be able to be traded 23.5. Is it a legitimate argument to say the reason they're doing this is because, they're unloading? They're going to want more opportunities to unload on your fucking head. Not to mention the point about the casino. I think a lot of bad decisions are made in the middle of the night. Like if you live in the America time zones, trading in the middle of the night, I think is silly. Like you need sleep to be able to operate at your most optimal. And, obviously for people who are in other time zones, maybe there's some advantages to new trading hours, overnight sessions. But I think this is a very fair take here from E-mini. And there's some precedents for this in crypto. For those of you that were around, the CME group launched Bitcoin futures December 2017. What happened in December of 2017? It was the top of the Bitcoin bull run. Okay, so CME futures launched December 2017. That was the top of the bull run. In 2021, we had the launch of Bitcoin ETFs, right? They debuted in October of 2021. What happened in October of 2021? Well, the market topped. Right? The market topped. You might ask, what happened at the 2025 top? Well, Kraken bought Breakout September of 2025. Look what happened after September of 2025. The market topped. So you have CME futures, you have ETFs, and then you have Breakout being acquired. All three of those big institutional things, because Breakout is a big institutional giga company, created the top on the market 3 separate times. So inherently, when we have our next all-time high, guess what? I'm going to sell my next company, and that's going to be the top. It's going to be the top. But it is interesting. And I also think someone said here, they're making it easier for people with less money to trade too. I agree. right? I agree. They basically said, hey, the minimums are now lower. Table minimums just got lower. Late night in Vegas, what do? They lower the table minimums so you can get in there and gamble with less money and still inevitably lose it. So lower minimums and more trading hours doesn't necessarily mean more opportunities to make money. It means there's more time available for you to potentially lose money as well. But yes, breakout selling to Kraken caused the top. I'm sorry, but it had to be done. It had to be done. And it wasn't just me. Kobe also sold to Coinbase. So we kind of created the top together. So the ECB warns that the AI stock rally faces a likely correction. In a blog post on August 17th, the ECB researchers stated that a stock market correction is likely as AI enthusiasm has inflated tech valuations to .com levels. They highlighted risks for Europe, where households hold $440 billion in U.S. tech giants like the Mag 7, and noted limited policy tools to cushion a downturn. Investors like Ray Dalio, who was tweeting this from Ibiza at 4 a.m, echoed the concerns, spotting classic bubble signs similar to 1929 and the 2000s, though some argue real profits set today's AI firms apart from past flops. Markets have held steady so far amid the ongoing debate over valuations versus technology's promises. So I think this is, the Michael Burry argument. A lot of people are saying the same thing, and we've had this big washout in tech. Now, is this complacency, right? Like, are we in the complacency shoulder on some of these tech plays? I think that's the argument that is probably the most relevant right now. Like, is this complacency? I don't know. Still too early to tell. I do think there are differences. Like, all these companies are making money. There's real demand. They can't keep up with demand. They have contracts going years and years into the future. But whether or not it's, .com bubble-esque, I've been saying for a while, I feel like we're due for some sort of big correction in stocks. It just hasn't happened yet. And, you don't want to really step in front of the train, but there are certain alarm bells going off, and we're going to get into one of those in a second here. Thanks for the $2, bro. I appreciate you. Do you still own any percentage or decision making? So I sold the entire company, but I'm still involved. I'm still one of the founders. I'm still in the C-suite of the business. Me and my team are still running the day-to-day operations of Breakout 100%. I created the top and I faded my own short. You're right, bro. I think I know this sounds like a cop-out, right? Because I admitted, like, if you go back to October of 2025, let me find this. Oh, no. This is before then. When was this? Sorry, I'm going to find this. I got to find this. Hold on. Here. This is a year before the top, okay? This is a year before the top, okay? October 31st. I said that now that we're at all-time highs, so we were trading here. This is when we broke out of this here. I posted this, okay? I said we're going to see a lot of people getting bullish, blah, blah, blah. Here's how you figure out when the top is in. Number one is market structure. So using the 3-day chart, we're going to look for a break in structure. Once we have that break in structure, it's confirmed the top on every single prior market. So you go to the 3-day chart here. There is your 3-day market structure break right there. Pretty damn close to the Pico top, 110,000. Portfolio targets. Have you hit a portfolio level that you're interested in? That's when you should start cashing out. And then price targets. I was like, I have no idea how this goes, but I believe that the top is going to be somewhere between 100, 110, up to 150. So I posted that here. We topped at 125, so right in the middle, and we confirmed the top with a 3-day market structure break, just like I had described in the images here. And I faded myself. And I think part of the reason for fading myself was I was in the process of selling my company. And I talked about this on the Thread Guy podcast and the podcast I did with my performance coach. But I decided a few years ago that like I needed to put all of my time and effort, or the vast majority of it, into Breakout, because that was the golden goose. Yes, it was delayed gratification, but that's where my time was best spent. And unfortunately, it caused me to just not trust my own analysis. So it was very painful. Thank you for reminding me. Can we use nested ranges on the 1 hour, the 15-minute, the 5-minute without looking at the daily H4 timeframe for short-term trading? Absolutely. Everything that I share with you guys is applicable on any time frame. So I usually go for the whiteboard series, weekly, daily, H4, H1, and then maybe lower. But that's kind of it. You could use the H4, the H1, the M15, and the M5. As long as you're doing top-down analysis in this direction, it does not matter. You just need to have a high time frame and then lower time frames below that you're building out your model. So if you want the H4 to be your high time frame because you're scalping, then absolutely, you're going to use your H4 and H1 dealing range. You're going to use your order blocks and stuff from the M15. And you're going to be looking for your dealing ranges to be nested on all of these lower time frames, 100%. So Amit Investing said, why are stocks selling off? So the VIX was at a 2-year low. Any level of volatility up was going to take stocks down. So let's look up the VIX here. So the VIX has been at this low for a while here, right? Last time the VIX had a big rally was December of 2025. Let's go look at stocks, December of 2025, right? Big VIX rally, big dump in the S&P. So that lines up decently there. The 10-year Treasury bond is above 4.7 and the 30-year is at 5.3, which is not sustainable at these levels. The last time we were pushing these yields, the S&P was down 30%. So the last time the bond market was this hot, right, the S&P was significantly lower. We're now at all-time highs and the bond yields are pushing. The Japan 30-year yield surges above 4%. It's the highest in history. That's generally not good. And that ties into the yen carry trade. Trump posted that the U.S. is having no conversations with Iran. So there's more uncertainty. You go look at oil, right? Oil is back up in the high 80s, looking like it's breaking back into this range. Not ideal. Tech names have had a very solid 2 weeks of August, but they're giving back some of those gains. They rallied really hard. The downturn ends up being ugly as well, even though those names are still very green from the lows. Basically, not an earnings AI bubble story for the sell-off. Feels more like a bond yields Trump-Iran uncertainty story. Now, he's talking about this already, right? Why are stocks selling off? We're not that far off the highs. Right? Like we barely sold off here. We're like 2% off the highs. But these are all very good points. And Hedgie here talks about the yen carry trade that I've mentioned a bunch of times. So we've talked about how the yen carry trade works on this channel before, where effectively you have this borrowing going on, where people are borrowing cheap yen, right? Taking USD, borrowing cheap yen. They're borrowing cheap yen, getting in USD, putting that money into stocks like Nvidia, Micron, and NQ. And so you had this rally above a significant high, and then you had intervention. So what we had was the US and Japan spending billions buying yen to push this back down. Okay, Trump came out and said, we've always been friends with Japan. They've been very nice to us, except for Pearl Harbor, because he's hilarious. But now we're rallying right back up. Okay. So the BOJ's intervention level of 163 is the next test if 160 breaks. So if we get back above this box, we're going right back to that high, which is where the BOJ intervened and the US put in billions. His take is 3 weeks and billions of dollars, and the yen has given back most of the ground they fought for. The yield on US bonds is still almost 2 points higher than on Japanese bonds. So money flows out of the yen the same way it did before anyone intervened. He thinks 160 breaks soon. And when it does, the BOJ has really two options. They either raise rates in September or they burn more of their reserves, defending a line that the market keeps erasing, and neither option is painless. Higher Japanese rates makes the carry trade more expensive to run. So then it begins to unwind, meaning the US stocks get sold off, the bonds get sold off to buy back the yen. More reserve spending just delays the same problem. The cheap yen has been one of the great funding sources for risk this year, and it's running out of road. So effectively what he's saying is if the yen trades back up here and makes a new high, there's an argument to be made that to unwind the yen carry trade, that involves selling US bonds, US stocks back into US dollars, then buying back yen with those dollars to pay back those low interest rate loans. Because when you're borrowing at zero or near zero interest, if those loans become more expensive, the delta that you're getting by borrowing at near zero, putting it into a market where you're getting actual return, and then you're making that delta, right? If these rates go up, you then have to unwind this side of the trade to pay back those loans that are now expensive. So this is going to be something interesting to watch. We had that peak above, it's back below. This is the level here. I had it marked for a while now. If we get back above here and this thing starts trading up, that could be additional selling pressure in equities and potentially, rape Bitcoin as well, unfortunately. No SFP here on Bitcoin. Yes, there's an SFP on ETH. Yes, there's an SFP on Solana. Hyperliquid kind of already printed its H12, H1 setup. So something to watch there. Can I pitch you an idea on Telegram? Respect you. Sure, you just gave me $2. You can do whatever you want. Anything you want. $2, anything you want, bro. Tesla is reportedly preparing to launch its Cybercab in Austin as soon as this month, starting with rides for employees. I'm very interested to see how this goes because I'm pretty sure there's still like very little actual robo-taxi adoption in the US. Like most of these cars are still drivered. Like they're not fully driverless. Now I have been in like Arizona and San Francisco where they do have those Waymos that there is no driver. So I don't know from a regulatory perspective what Tesla has to do to have the full self-driving taxi. But I would love to see one of these just ripping down 6th Street, drunk ass people in the back throwing up all over the robo-taxi. But I'm personally very bullish. I love my cars. I love to drive. But one of the things I dislike the most is when I get in an Uber and I request, no talking, they just yap my ear off anyways. I always lie about what I do for work, and they always still seem to find a way to just create conversation. So if I can just have a driverless robo-taxi, I'm all fucking for it. I'm all fucking for it. And these look pretty fucking cool. And I don't know, man, it just feels like the future. This is the stuff of the future that I'm like stoked on, So Tesla plans to roll out purpose-built Cybercab robo-taxis in Austin as soon as late August, starting with employee rides on public roads before opening it to the public. The company is running a promotion through August 23rd. Complete rides now for a shot at tickets to the August 30th launch event at 7 p.m. with winners announced by August 25th. Preparations include permits for wireless chargers at the new robotaxi hub, building on current rides in multiple cities amid fan excitement for scaled autonomous services. I don't know, man. I think it's cool. Like, Isn't it going to be nuts like that we're going to have liberals like graffitiing robo-taxis being like, this taxi supports MAGA, and it's like, it's a fucking robo-taxi, dude. But I think this shit's cool, dude. Is that MKBHD? What happened to his hair? Like, do you not, like, are you not concerned slightly if you're a, like, if you're like a personal injury lawyer? I have a friend who's a personal injury lawyer. He says the most of the money he makes is from car accidents. Like, there's got to be a world where once there's more autonomous driving cars than not, there's less accidents. Like, I have friends who have Teslas who say that they don't even drive anymore. Like, full self-driving is that good. Like, do any of you guys have Teslas? I genuinely don't know because I've never owned a Tesla, but I've been told by multiple people that like full self-driving is so good now that you can be like reading a book and it will just drive you anywhere. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So you can, of course, speculate on this and trade this idea on Polymarket. Do you believe they will launch robotaxis in California this year? Seeing as California already scared Elon off and made him move everything to Texas, causing them billions of dollars, I would lean on no by the end of the year, because the end of the year is only like 3-4 months away. And I think California will do everything in their power to stop this from happening, because that's just who they are as a state, just like Canada is who we are as a country. The worst. Another $2, bro, would pay $1,000 for your time. Bro, you send me $1,000, I quit my job, I work for you. How's that sound? You tip me $1,000, I quit my job, I come work for you right now. In fucking hilarious news, Pablo Pledgescabar, Pablo Pledgescabar is a Dean's List accounting major at Penn State. This guy sounds just like me. I was Dean's List and I was an accounting major too. Who kept a blog talking about his passion for numbers and financial storytelling and how he wanted to be at the forefront of the financial landscape. He also cut his fat brother's hair on the side for extra cash. Meanwhile, he allegedly is the top of an entire cocaine chain for the entire campus, running kilos out of Sigma Chi and Delta Upsilon houses, making regular supply runs to Philly and New York, and using actual pledges to cut and bag the product as their official indoctrination. There's even a photo from one of the deals where pledges are helping package 500 grams he just sold for $18K. Later deals hit full kilos. He kept selling after he graduated. Unreal. This is the guy. This is the guy. This guy was running a underground, campus-wide cocaine ring. This is the kingpin. And he was using pledges, and instead of hazing them the normal way by like getting them drunk and making them run around naked and do stupid shit, he had them packaging and cutting cocaine. Cartel thread guy off a bean? No? This is literally me if in another timeline. Like, I was a Dean's List accounting and finance major, but instead of selling cocaine, I sold frozen taquitos because our campus had no food options late night. So I would go to Costco. I bought a bunch of frozen taquitos and I would sit in my buddy's dorm room. We would play FIFA, cook up taquitos, smoke pot, and then we had our number on flyers all around the school, and people would text us, and we'd deliver them taquitos at $1 a pop. So this is basically me, except for I wasn't abusing pledges and selling coke. I was selling shitty Costco taquitos. But imagine, this is the drug kingpin. Physiognomy test, not here, dude. This guy looks like an accountant. This guy looks like a dude who I want to, talk about my taxes with. But instead, he's like, kilos is no joke. No fucking joke. It's a lot of money. We live in a society. AI agents reshape the Runescape economy in zero labor experiment. So Max Bitker's open source SDK powers AI agents that mine, craft, trade, and compete in an emulated Runescape server without humans. As the bots worked for free, commodities flooded the market. Currency inflated wildly, and trading switched to direct barter with fierce fights over limited resources like certain ores. Cala Research mapped this as a preview of the AI-driven human economies, though critics like Tirzu point out the game's quirks, such as raw materials outvaluing finished goods due to experience points. The experiment sparked rethinking of scarce assets like energy, compute, and land in an AI abundant future. So it is quite interesting because basically what happened here is there was little to no cost of labor. So there was abundant commodities, currency inflated away, and we basically went back to a trade and barter system. No one wanted cash because cash was meaningless. And what you wanted was goods. You wanted food. You wanted supplies. Huge swarm of contention as certain resources with limited respawn rates became valuable. So is this a glimpse into the future? If you listen to someone like Elon Musk, he's talking about universal high income, not universal basic income, universal high income. That AI and robotics are going to be so ubiquitous within society that no one's going to need to work anymore. And you'll just get paid to fucking, I don't know, jerk off to your AI girlfriend with your robo fleshlight. So in that world, what is the value of money? Is there a value of money? Is there any value of money in a world where, labor is low cost because it's done by robots and AI? And then do we go back to a world where what becomes valuable are actual goods? Pretty dystopian, I would say. Pretty dystopian. But there are a lot of kind of counterpoints here saying that, the game, the way that the game is created might put different values on actual stuff. Like planks are worth more than actual furniture. Uncut gems are worth more than jewelry. Iron bars are worth more than iron plate armor. So not the best proxy for real commodity markets. Pretty interesting nonetheless. But what logically, where does this go? If we get to a point, let's say in 10 years, where the vast majority of blue collar labor is done by, AI powered robots, and even a lot of white collar jobs are completely taken over by AI. Like in 10 years, is copywriting and basic marketing really going to be a thing? Like what is a useful skill that in 10 years AI is not going to replace? At Breakout now, we have been able to make roles kind of in the marketing department specifically and in engineering redundant, where one person can now do more because of AI. I don't need someone to write copy for a website if AI can do it 95% of the way and then one person can give it the human touch. That's now. Where are we in 10 years? Like anytime I talk to my accountants or lawyers or bankers, I put all of my shit into AI first. And then half the stuff they tell me the AI picked up on, the AI picks up on stuff that they miss. I had stuff that my accountant missed, but the AI picked up, and I just uploaded my tax returns, a bunch of other bullshit. It's like, what about this? And I asked him, I'm like, is this something we can do? He's like, oh yeah. I was like, what do you mean, oh yeah, dude? I'm about to give your retainer to fucking Claude for more tokens. This guy says, yeah, full self-driving is so good. Our Tesla avoided a ladder in the lane on the highway going 75. That's crazy. But yeah, so what happens? I genuinely don't know. What value, what is the point? What are the vast majority of people going to do? So I like to be an optimist. I always talk about being positive, poly, right? You want to be optimistic. Things are going to work out. Things are going to get better. AI is going to improve our lives drastically. But I am also of the mindset at the same time that a lot of people are fucking useless and stupid. Like when you go out, like just go to the airport. Go to the airport. You're going to be like, what the fuck? How are some of you people surviving in society right now? What jobs could you possibly doing? Go and like try and upgrade your phone at the fucking store and see the people and stuff that you got to fucking deal with. Like there's a lot of like crazy and retarded people out there. And it's like, are they going to have jobs, let alone like smart people who just happen to have a skill that AI is really good at? What happens? Anarchy? Makes me want to just like buy a fucking farm and a piece of land and just like fuck off. You know? Best case Wall-E, worst case Mad Max. I think that's a pretty good summary. Pretty good summary. So Google just unveiled that they have a watch club within the company. And there's over 3,000 people in it. And their members collaborated with Tudor, who is owned by Rolex, and a Bay Area retailer, Shreve & Co., to create 800 limited edition Pelagos 39 watches. These keep the watch's matte black dial and snowflake hands, but add the chrome dyno on the dial and a playful engraving on the case back reading watches squared and 10 to the 100 power. Pre-ordering went out in 2024 with deliveries in December, serving as a daily wearer and a badge of Silicon Valley camaraderie for members. Online views are mixed admiration with clean design and Tudor's flexibility with notes that are details appeal mostly to insiders. So it's a Tudor watch and it's got the little dyno that shows up on Google if you have no internet. Or if like the page can't be displayed, you get this little dinosaur and you press spacebar and you can do that running and jumping game. Overall, gay, in my opinion. Like if you're gonna have like a watch and you want to have some sort of custom stamp on it, I think it's really cool if it's got like a Rolex with like a Tiffany stamp or a Patek with a Tiffany stamp, because those are scarce. Tiffany is obviously a jewelry company, but to me, like you're already wearing a Tudor, which is a derivative of a, Rolex Submariner. Like this is basically, I know the Tudor Black Bay is the actual sub copy, but this looks like a Rolex Submariner or fucking GMT or something. And now you've got this little Google thing on it. Like I think it's cute if maybe you work at Google. Look, they got an OpenAI one. I don't know. I think this is kind of lame. Facebook. This would be cool if you worked at Google and they're like, hey, we're going to give these to all of the engineers or something. That's kind of cool. Look, Coinbase has one. Nomos. Coinbase couldn't get Tudor, eh? Couldn't get Tudor, eh? Yeah, so Rolex with Supreme has fuck them. I don't know. I don't know if I like this or if I hate it. I think it's a cute little thing, but these watches only have, I think a very small amount of people who would be interested in buying something like this. If you want to get a luxury watch that's got a stamp on it that increases its value, get a Patek or a Rolex with a Tiffany stamp. I think that's what you should do. Last but not least here, guys, there's a tweet that went out where I think it was some chick, and she basically said, I'm stuck in seven-figure hell. And then she got annihilated because everyone was dunking on her. She's like, I have too much money to be hungry to grind, but I'm not willing to take the risks anymore that I took to get here because I don't want to give back my stack. It's harder to risk more money because you could get back below $1 million. You haven't paid taxes on those gains yet. She's not as motivated, blah, blah, blah. But it's also not enough money to actually be rich. There's a very funny scene from Succession where Greg says, hey, I'm getting $5 million in,
I was just talking to my mom.
Inheritance
she said,
here.
Apparently he'll leave me $5 million anyway. So I was just talking to my mom, and she said apparently he'll leave me $5 million anyway. So I'm golden, baby.
You can't do anything with 5, Greg. 5's a nightmare.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Can't retire. Not worth it to work. Oh, yes. 5 will drive you un poco loco, my fine feathered friend.
Poorest rich person in America. The world's tallest dwarf.
The weakest strongman at the circus.
So I think that that's very accurate, funnily enough. And Nexus wrote this kind of response. I've noticed a very relatable sentiment from people like professional athletes. We've talked about this. It's not paycheck to paycheck. They miss its purpose. They woke up every day with the hunger to succeed at all costs, something to give their all to. Sports isn't something that really changes based on how much money you have, but at least for me, trading has kind of been, you can stack more and it's nice, but it's just not the same. Whereas when I had nothing, there was literally nothing else I'd rather be doing at every moment of the day. And then you end up at the same place as the athlete, wondering what's next now that your sole driving purpose has disappeared. It's not hell. It's just the gap before you find the next thing that truly drives you. I hope it's trading again and that this is just bear market vibes, but I'm not so sure. So I think this is another instance of where social media just is completely fried people's brains. Like everyone who uses Twitter and social media, they've been microwaved. They are so far disillusioned from the real world. 7-figure hell, and even what Nexus is saying here, like this is such a privileged point of view. And if you don't interact with regular people who have regular jobs on any sort of like, you know, recurring basis, and you're talking to them like friends, family members who are just doing the regular 9-to-5 rat race grind, it is very easy to get sucked into this echo chamber of people being like, well, $1 million is like not enough to retire, but it's also not enough to be driven anymore. Genuinely, I could not disagree more. Like, I think that the premise of this argument is retarded, or this viewpoint. You are never going to be able to scale to significant sums of money if your sole purpose is the money. You have to fall in love with the process. You have to detach yourself from the number on the screen if you're ever going to be able to scale in any significant way. Otherwise, you'll get into a situation like this poster where they said, I'm afraid to risk now because I don't want to go back below 7 figures. Risk is risk. If you're risking 1R, 1 to 2% of your account, 5% of your account, it shouldn't matter if your account is $100,000 or $10 million. It's a fixed percentage that you're comfortable risking. So if you want to scale, that's how you do it. But the part that is just completely out of touch is if you ask the regular person how they're doing financially, it's horrible. Most people are unable to afford basic living expenses. They're getting annihilated. They're priced out of the housing market. The job's not paying them enough to keep up with the increasing cost of living. They're in massive amounts of debt, right? People are very hopeless for the future. There is a worry about job security with things like AI and robotics coming. I think the average person is actually a lot more concerned and would kill to have 7 figures, because 7 figures is an inordinate amount of money in the real world, as long as you're not retarded, right? And a lot of these people manage to get 7 figures, 8 figures from sitting on their computer and pressing buttons. It's not real life. It's not real life. And if you talk to people who are living in the real world, these arguments become so silly. And it's the same thing with what Nexus is saying here. I like Nexus, but I don't think that professional athletes are relatable whatsoever. They just happen to be really good at something that pays a lot of money, which happens to be a sport. They're the top of their field, right? But that doesn't mean I think that LeBron James is necessary. And I love LeBron, okay? I love LeBron James. This is the Hennessy here, okay? I'm a big LeBron guy. I don't really care about LeBron's views on politics or the economy or anything like that. He's really good at basketball. And he gets paid a lot of money because the league that he plays in makes a lot of money. More power to you. It's no different than actors. Anytime elections come, it's like, well, who's Taylor Swift voting for? All of these actors hate Donald Trump. They think this. These are drama kids who got rich. Does not mean they know anything outside of their echo bubble, their little fake world of Hollywood and acting. And this importance that people put on opinions of athletes and celebrities, etc., as if because they're rich, all of a sudden their opinions are more important than the average person or someone who maybe is actually an expert in that field. And we should listen to the celebrity who's made a bunch of movies, happen to do very well, but like these people are out of touch. Most of these people are completely out of touch. 7 figures is a lot of money. So my advice, if you feel like you're in 7-figure hell, what did you do to get there? And if you cannot separate the money aspect of your process, you're never going to be able to scale past 7 figures. Money is the outcome. The process is what gets you there. And if you're feeling like Crypto Nexus, who I feel like is someone who had a very big come up during this last bull run, he crushed the hype trade, the airdrop, other trades. You've lost that zest for trading a little bit. I think it does come back in the bull run, but at the end of the day, profitable trading is very boring. Trading is not like some crazy, super exciting thing all the time. Like systematic trading, like I do, is very, very boring. Are there high stakes moments? Are there moments of high pressure? Is it like a game of poker? In some senses, sure. But like most of these people on Twitter are just out of touch with reality. They have no idea how hard it is for the average person is to get ahead. And they're complaining like, well, I made a few $1,000,000 and now I'm just not motivated anymore. It's like, do you know how lucky you are? I'm lucky as fuck, but I'm aware of it. Like I know how lucky I am to be in the situation that I am, making money from my computer. A lot of these people are wildly out of touch. And if you don't figure it out soon and learn to understand what you have, what you've done to get there, how easy it is to lose it, you can get yourself in trouble. So that's all I got for today, guys. As always, if you want to support your boy, go click the Polymarket links below. You can live trade, live stream tennis directly on the Polymarket app right now. So they're the official market provider of the ATP. So if you want to support your boy, that's one of the best ways to do it. Otherwise,